Despite being one of the best performing altcoins last year during the bear market, Quant has had a rough 2023 as this altcoin is relatively flat on the year while majority of the alt market has posted double to triple digit gains. So in this video, we're going to talk about my updated thesis on Quant, why I believe it has been having such a rough year, and what my personal long-term goal is for this altcoin. You can expect to hear about all of this and more in today's episode of the Everything Crypto Show. And before we hop into the content, just a friendly reminder that I am not a financial advisor, nor do I offer any sort of financial advice on YouTube. I am simply here for your crypto news and entertainment purposes. And if you do find these videos informative or entertaining, please consider hitting that sub and like button, turn the notifications on. It does go a long way, and I do very much appreciate all of the support on the channel. So we're going to talk about Quant today, and if you guys have been with the channel for a while, you know that Quant is my favorite altcoin. We actually started covering it last May and June when we were here in this double-digit range, and give or take like the $50 to $45 area. I think the first video we actually made on Quant, it was sitting in the mid $50 to low $60 range, and currently it sits at $100. So from the time we started talking about Quant, it definitely has still posted a very impressive, I would just say, performance over the past year and a half. And, that's in spite of the fact that it's had a pretty rough 2023 in terms of the altcoin market, or relative to the altcoin market, I should say. Because if we take a look at Quant here on a year-to-date basis, and we actually go ahead and change this log to percent, we're down here about 4.5% on the year when it comes to Quant. And if we take a look at total 3, which is the total crypto market cap minus Bitcoin and Ethereum, so effectively the altcoin market, right? And then take a look at a year-to-date basis, it's up like 42%. So Quant has definitely underperformed the majority of the altcoin market. And I've seen a lot of people trying to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt on Twitter. Some OG Quant holders actually, basically paper handing and selling their bag. So I kind of want to talk about my personal view on Quant as of right now, and I think what I'm going to do is actually I think today is going to kind of be an update on what I personally think about the project. Tomorrow I'm going to do more of a thorough deep dive on the project if you want to learn more about what they've been up to, and then Wednesday we're going to talk some price targets. But I think it's important to kind of talk about what has been going on with Quant lately. Okay, so just kind of a quick recap. We started covering Quant here during the bear market year, again in that double-digit territory, and last year Quant was on everybody's radar as it made this run from $42 up to $228, okay? And we're going to talk about this run in a couple of minutes because I do think it's important to the context of what exactly has been going on with Quant as of recently. But for those of you that don't know, the Quant token basically powers the Quant OVERLEDGER technology. This is a distributed ledger technology very similar to the XRP ledger that has some very important use cases for governments and institutions. The two big ones here are tokenization, okay? So institutions, governments, they can basically take any asset and tokenize it on the Quant OVERLEDGER. And this goes, I think the most common use case we talk about is central bank digital currencies, digital payment platforms. But this extends far beyond that, okay? You're talking about potentially monitoring supply chains, cross-border payments, carbon credits, and certificates. The use cases for tokenization are really just being explored, and the Quant OVERLEDGER basically allows for all of that. Now, it also has a bridging feature, which actually allows for these tokenized assets to move between different blockchains that are supported by the Quant OVERLEDGER. And, personally, I do believe that the future is multi-chain, so actually facilitating this interoperability is very important in my opinion. And Quant basically is an all-in-one option for tokenization, for bridging of assets. And when you have people like Larry Fink, the CEO of BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the world, talking about how bullish he is on tokenization, I definitely do think it's something that is worth taking a look at. Also worth noting that you can actually connect private, like the JP Morgan Onyx chain, for example, to public blockchains as well. So definitely very important to note. They have Quant Smart Audit, they have OVERLEDGER Authorized as well. And this seems to have caught the attention of some very big names, okay? If we actually go ahead and take a look at the Quant CEO, he actually announced here And we're going to talk about this more in depth tomorrow. But basically, what you need to know is that the Quant CEO has definitely caught the attention of some very big names with this technology, including the Bank for International Settlements, the Bank of England, Bank of Canada, Barclays, MasterCard, Amazon, all of who built and tested payment rails or CBDC cases on the Quant Overledger, okay? So that's why I kind of tweeted here, first of all, I said, please keep selling your Quant tokens, obviously sarcastically, while Quant Network has confirmed partnerships and collaborations with the Bank of England, the Bank for International Settlements, the Bank of Canada, Barclays, Amazon, MasterCard, BNY Mellon, Oracle, Nexi Group, LAC Chain, and UST, right? And if we go back to Quant's website, and again, we're going to look at this a little bit more in depth tomorrow in the deep dive, but you can actually see all of the participants there as confirmed by their CEO on Twitter. And then we can go ahead and take a look here at the Quant Partners page, and you got LAC Chain, Oracle, Nexi Group. This is the largest payment provider in Europe. LAC Chain is a consortium of 17 different countries in Latin America using blockchain for payments. UST here as well, who services some of the biggest, some of the Fortune 500 companies, okay? So that's Quant from a little bit of a fundamental perspective, but we're going to save the true deep dive for tomorrow. I'm sure most of you kind of want to talk about the price action right now, and that's what we're going to take a look at, okay? So for starters, I have the same post up here twice, okay? So, number one, as we said at the beginning of the video, Quant right now, we're looking at this project basically being down about 4.5% on the year, while the altcoin market is up over 40%. And I think that's a big reason a lot of people have, you know, basically kind of just been getting really impatient with Quant, as people do tend to think in the short term, right? When a project they see isn't moving and all these other altcoins around them are ripping to the upside, it is very easy to fall into FOMO. So I tweeted two different things here that I think are very important to put in perspective. And the first thing here is that from July of 2019 to January of 2021, the Quant price could not stay above $12. Okay, let's take a look here. And let's go back to 2019. You can see right here on July 12, 2019, Quant was at a price of about $12.60. In 2020, fell all the way down to about $2.50, so a fat 80% decline. And then even here, right, we can see like as soon as September of 2020, the price was still below that $8, $9 zone. In October, November, that's when we finally started to climb above that area. And even in January of 2021, okay, it was still sitting in this double-digit range, right? Actually, right here, December of 2020, it was sitting at $12. Now, what happened, okay? In January of 2021, we can see that Quant actually came in at a price tag here of give or take about 16, let's just say 15, $17, let's call it, okay? It's not going to matter when you see the run that this project went on, because it ran from that mid double-digit range there all the way up to an all-time high of $428, okay? So we actually go ahead and go to the all-time chart, and then we're going to take a look at the price range for that. And let's go to January of 2021. Sorry, let me get us back on a regular thing here. Okay, now let's go to, look, TradingView doesn't even have the price that low. So let's go from $12, $13, all the way up to that run at $428. And that's basically like a 3,000% run, 3,060%, okay? Quant went on a massive run here, and that happened from January of 2020 all the way, or sorry, of 2021 to September. So basically in 9 months, Quant had a massive rally from, you know, 12 to 15 bucks all the way up to $428. So I wonder how many people got impatient and sold below $12 or at $12 just to watch Quant go 35x in 9 months. Okay, that's the first thing I said, just kind of as a food for thought thing to think about. And I made a pretty crappy drawing here, basically showing you that Quant is once again going through a very similar looking kind of like consolidation phase. And when the next bull market takes off, and you know, hypothetically, if Quant does hit a new all-time high, then I think this phase here is going to really look a lot like this phase over here, okay? We can see here, if we actually take a look at the chart, that this is Quant going from, like 150 down to 45, up to 228, back down to 100. And I can promise you it felt very similar for people who watch Quant go from $12 down to $5, up to $10, down to $250, up to $15, up to $20, $25, and then boom, $428 before most people probably even saw it coming, okay? So that's the first point I wanted to make, is that these consolidation phases are healthy for these projects. They do serve a purpose of shaking out weak hands and entering, and really kind of letting the long-term holders accumulate, letting new people enter this coin. And yeah, at this point, you've basically had over a year to do so at the current price tag. Another altcoin we spoke about that I thought was in a very similar accumulation phase was Coin, which basically sat at about 5 cents for a year. And yeah, we basically saw it double here in just under a month from 5 cents, peaking out at about 12.5 cents earlier in November. Now, the second thing I spoke about in regards to Quant, and I think it's important to kind of consider and put into perspective, is that yes, most alts are up this year while Quant is basically flat, but most people seem to forget that in 2022, Quant went from a bottom of $45 in June to $228 in October, while most other alts were flat in that time period or down, okay? And we can once again go ahead and take a look at the Quant chart over here. And yeah, you guys can basically see, if I zoom out, that yeah, right here, okay? So in June of 2022, Quant sat at 42 bucks. By October, it was $228. Okay, and then if we take a look at total 3, so we're going to go to total 3, and what I'm going to do is actually just log 2022, okay? So total 3, 01, 01, and then 2022, 12, 31. Okay. Actually, I don't think that's a super fair comparison. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do from June until October, which was that 4-month time frame we spoke about on Quant. And I do think it's fair to actually talk about things from June, okay? Because that is when we did see majority of the altcoin market basically bottom. So we're gonna go from the bottom of the altcoin market, which, let's basically say was June 17th, more or less, and then we're gonna go to the 10th. Let's go to the end of October. Yeah, October 31st. Okay. And what you can see here is that majority of the altcoin market was basically up 7%, okay? It was up 7% in a time period when Quant was up over 440%. And now the altcoin market is up 40%. A lot of short-term people are flooding Quant because it is basically flat on the year. And yeah, that's the big point I'm trying to make, right? Is that I think a lot of the people that are trying to spread this FUD are people that do have more of a short-term perspective. Personally, I have made my thesis on Quant and on the crypto market, I've spoken about it multiple times. I am in crypto for the long term, and these short-term movements really do not faze me. But as I said at the beginning of the video, what I'm going to do is actually launch more of a deep dive for you guys on Tuesday to talk about the fundamentals of the project. And then Wednesday, we're going to take a little bit more of a deeper look at the charts and talk about what I personally see Quant doing in the future. So on that note, I hope you did enjoy the content in today's video. You know what to do if you made it all the way to the end. You are an absolute champion. Let me know in the YouTube comments down below and claim that champion status. I'm wishing you all an amazing Monday, and I hope you all stay happy, safe, and healthy, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out for now.